Hey, welcome back, growers. If you want to see how I turn a single label template like this into a custom list of labels for exactly what I need to harvest, so essentially all of my labels become my pick pack list, and get a string of labels like this in just a few minutes, stick around and I'm going to show you how I do it to print these on my thermal printer, which is a Rollo printer. So the first thing we need to do is create a data set. So essentially we're going to be using what's called a mail merge function. And mail merge was traditionally used in word processors to create custom sets of labels. The most common example I can think of is that if you have all your friends and family in an Excel sheet and you want to print custom labels for their addresses to send your Christmas cards, you can take that data set, plug it into the label template, and then print a custom set of labels with all the addresses that you need. So you can do all of this in Microsoft Word as well. I used to do this with a template for Avery 2x4-inch labels. It's customizable to any label size that you want. You just have to set up your template once and then do this every time you want to create a custom set of labels. So I use FreshBooks for my invoicing software, and they have a report called Item Sales Report. And I've set up my products so that they have the name, a dash, and then the size. And this is important. I'll show you in a minute because we're actually going to split these two pieces apart so we can use it on our label template. I also delete out all this information I don't need. Because all I really need is the product, the size, and the quantity to start. So I'm going to insert another label or another column there, and I'm going to go to highlight the column that I want to split, go to data, text the columns, and then we're going to use the delimited function, which then allows us to use the special character of a dash as kind of the flag for when to split the cell. So you can see here we now have our crop in one column and we have our size in the other column. And then finish. And now you can see that split. For mail merge to work though, each label you want printed needs its own line in the Excel sheet. So if you have 200 units you need to harvest and print labels for, you need 200 individual lines. And as you can see, anytime that our invoice has an item but has multiples of it, it just has a quantity here of 3. So if you don't have a ton of information, you can manually, insert column, copy this one, and then paste it. But that takes a lot of time, so I'm going to undo that. What I hacked together, I don't really remember how I put this together, but by searching a lot of resources, I was able to compile some Visual Basic or VBA code that will do all of that in a matter of seconds. So now that we have this split, what we want to do is go to Developer, Visual Basic, and then we go, I have it saved in a Google sheet. Oops. VBA, copy this first part. If you want this VBA code and if you want label templates for Canva that you can use for this, you can join my free school community. It's called Microgreens at Home Free, and you can find the link below to join. But we have a growing community where I am putting together a bunch of resources, free information on growing microgreens that you would normally find in super expensive courses. I want to give away that information so that more people can localize their food shed and grow food for their community. So go over there to school, find the community, and you can get the VBA code and the Canva label templates there. So we go ahead, paste that in, then you can just close out the VBA editor, go to macros, leave that as it is, click run, and now you can see where we had one line of broccoli that said 10, we now have 10 lines of broccoli. So that was super quick. Oops. So I don't really need this quantity field anymore. What I like to do is change that to harvest date. I found that it's easier to put the harvest date in here before I copy to Canva, because for some reason copying things in Canva is super slow. So we'll go paste that in. I'm going to change this to product, just so I know. Package and harvest date. Okay, so I'm going to copy this. Everything except for the actual column titles, because we're going to manually add those in Canva. So we'll go copy, we'll go back to Canva, maybe. Okay, there we go. We'll go to Canva. We'll find our template. Now you can see every field here, so I should say product. Every field that has a bracket, so product, package, harvest date, are all fields that are going to pull data from the data set that we created and then plug into here and then generate one label for each of the lines that we had in there. So in order to, move myself. In order to do that, we're going to go to apps, type in bulk, and there's an app called bulk create. Essentially, this is just a mail merge function. You could upload a CSV or Excel file. I don't actually have a Microsoft subscription, so it doesn't allow me to save those documents. I just kind of use it in transient to edit the data. So I go enter manually. Again, if you had a small data set, you could, type in your crops here, like broccoli, 4 ounce. You could just do down the line. But what we're going to do is paste in the data set. We're going to change these to what we want them to match on the label. So product, package, harvest date. Okay, then we'll go to done. And now you can see these are already linked because I've used this template before. But essentially what you can do if that doesn't show up like that for you is click on the text or highlight the text that you want to link to the data. Move this out of the way. Oops. And then you'll click connect data, and then it's already connected to product. And you would just do that for each text field that you want to link to data. But because I've used this template a lot, these are already connected. I just confirmed that they look like they make sense. Once you're done, you hit continue. And now it shows you every label it's going to generate. So we'll generate 116 designs, which is 116 units we're going to harvest. And now we have this beautiful custom list of labels. We can go ahead and before harvest label our containers, and then all I have to do on harvest day is work through the stack of containers, and I know exactly what products to harvest, what sizes, and how many of each, without having to have some sort of checklist or app to track all that information in real time. So it makes it super easy to move your harvests along quickly. So if you guys have any questions about this, please comment or join the school community, and we'll be talking about this more over there. I did used to do this with Microsoft Word, and actually I believe the Avery website has functionality for this too, where if you are doing more of like a sheet of labels, so I used to do 2x4 inch labels. There's 10 per page of Avery labels. I would just print them on an inkjet printer, and it would then, I'd have my multiple pages, but I would have all my labels together. Currently with this method that I showed you today, this actually prints on a roll of labels. I have a Rollo printer. It's a thermal printer, so you're limited to black and white. But again, I mostly work with chefs where I just need basic information. I'm not trying to catch anyone's attention, to buy my product off the shelf. So I might do another video where I show you how to do that method for the Avery labels. But I only wanted to do this one right now because it's getting quite long. But yeah, go ahead, check out the free community, and let me know if you have any questions. Happy growing.